Welcome to Evolve Your Blueprint,
where we explore the concept of evolving
and discuss our journey as individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds.
Our mission is to bring real conversations,
relate through storytelling,
and empower you to evolve with us. Let's evolve together.
Before we get started with our episode, we want to give a little disclaimer. We're going to talk about some very difficult topics today: ICE raids, immigration stress, detention centers. So we ask that you please check in with yourself as you're walking in or listening to this episode. Check in with your body. If you need a break, take a pause, come back to it, regulate your nervous system. Things may get difficult to hear. Take care of yourself.
Welcome back to Evolve Your Blueprint. This is the second part to a two-part series. And that's what I was referring to earlier when I said part of our work and part of our fight is even within our, like, just our nuclear, right? The people that we have that one-on-one connections with, right? Being able to talk about it. Because if there are differences, that's okay. But being able to go, actually, abuelita, you know, I know that this news outlet is describing the protests as such and such way. Pero abuelita, yo fui. I went. Let me actually explain to you what I saw, what was happening. Because we don't need to make this be a negative thing if it was a beautiful thing, if it was a powerful thing. And so that's what I mean by, like, even us within our families talking about, no, esto es lo que está pasando. This is what's happening. Yeah. Because for my grandma, whatever's on the news, eso es. Pues dijeron en las noticias, you know?
They scared them, right?
And so even sharing with them that a protester looks like me too. Yeah. You know? Yeah. You don't have to make a protester be a criminal, you know? So
it happened with my dad. I told him that I was going and he was just like, are you sure? He was really scared. I'm like, let's go together. Like, come with me, right? And he was very like, I don't know. But I knew that things were coming up for him because of his own history of coming here, right? And I was like, didn't press it, obviously. I was like, I totally see him without him verbally telling me as a Latino male, you know? So I'm like, I can see him. And I decided to go with a friend. And she even brought her little ones. And we had just passed by in Tustin. It was in Tustin, downtown Tustin area. And we first passed by just to see how it was, you know? And we got off and we were there for a whole hour and it was beautiful. It was so friendly. It was peaceful. I even FaceTimed my dad so that he can see, like, and he was so, like, I don't know if it was a proud moment or just very, like, light in his face, of like, wow, you are there. And I'm just getting emotional because I was there not just for me, you know? I was there for him. And I was there for everybody in my family that couldn't be there. So it felt very, going back to earlier, felt very empowering to be there afterwards, after so long that I had been feeling anxious and like anxiety, depressed, you know, what can I do? Powerless. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
When you shared that about, you know, your dad being proud, that was similar for my sister and I. So I went to the protest with my sister, and it was one of my favorite things I've ever done with her. Yeah. My parents came to our place, and my sister and I went to go run an errand, and then on our way back, I said, we're going to go, you know. So we stopped by, you know, the Dollar Tree to get stuff.
Poster.
And we get home with all these posters and Sharpies, and parents were like, what are you guys doing? You know, and it wasn't really a question to them of, are we going? It was like, we're going to do this. And then I saw my dad and he's like, ¿Quieren que vaya con ustedes? Like, do you want me to go with you guys? Yeah. I was like, nah, Dad, you're gonna sit this one out. Like, let the white girl go. You know, like you can stay, Dad. You know, and
to like the protector party.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, no, tú aquí. And so my parents dropped us off, And I could tell there was like an internal conflict even for themselves because they believed in what we were doing, but it was so scary to drop off their daughters to it. Right. And they dropped us off, they picked us up, and I could tell that they were so proud. And my mom was like, I'm so proud of you girls. And I think that like their mindset on the way we speak up has changed through time. You know, my mom's like, ya no me quedo callada. I don't stay quiet anymore. Like enough already. So, that proud moment for our parents who have maybe been taught to kind of just, you know, do what you're supposed to do. Stay quiet, you know.
And I think that's a constant thing for me. This like calladita te ves más bonita, which is like you look the prettiest when you're silent. And that's always been something that I always try to break within myself.
Yeah.
I know it's an intergenerational thing within us women in my lineage. And I know that I continue to break that cycle and that saying. But yeah, mi lucha es tu lucha. And I always tell my dad that. So it's important. Even for him to see me as a business owner and like things that I do now, you know, and yeah. So.
Your parents, I'm sure, were really proud, both of you there.
Thank you.
My wife and I were watching a movie the other day, and it was the live action Mulan from Disney.
Mulan's my girl.
Right? Like
Such a good
Mulan
movie.
is my
such a good
girl.
It's a
movie.
good movie. It really is.
And so I tell her like, oh, I love watching these because like you don't see a lot of Asian like you know, fully cast or sitting there watching it.
Yeah.
And so your stories remind me of this aspect of like Mulan like willingly took the scripture to go to war to protect her family in a lot of ways, and she did so because of her love for her family. Went against all kind of norms, but like that's how you all are showing up you know, for your family in a lot of ways.
Brandon, did you know that Mulan is literally my favorite? My favorite.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't know this about me. You guys, I
didn't
could
know
watch Mulan like nobody's business, and I cry every single time at the end because of the honor that, you know, I'm like this woman, you know, the honor for her country, for her family. I mean, it was by rebelling, by doing what she wasn't supposed to do. So, I mean, I don't think that's what I was doing. I'm no Mulan, but yeah. Anyway, I love that you brought up Mulan.
Is that the second one? Because there's the second one that came out, right?
Oh no, I like the OG.
The animation?
The animation Mulan, like
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch it now.
it's so
so
good,
good.
VD. It's so good.
She's a badass.
She's a badass. Like, let's all be like
Yeah.
her. Seriously. Yes.
But to crack a joke though,
A ver,
like, you
pues.
know how you two were talking about how like you mentioned that the translation is like you look prettiest like when you're quiet.
See.
I'm trying to think in my mind, like majority of my friends are Latino women. I'm like, well, none of them are quiet. They're all
He's like, for being real cute while saying silent, none of y'all are that.
my wife also too is very, very you know, she's very beautiful, but she's also very opinionated
Yes,
too.
yes.
So I'm like, either we're all breaking cycles here, or we're doing something because I don't know.
I don't know a silent Latina.
If anything, it's the men that are quiet, like your father, for example. I think I'm very similar to him in
Yes.
some ways. Like we just sit there and we smile and we nod and do things.
That's true. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I feel
Well, it's
like.
because it's stopping with us.
I guess so.
It's
Yeah.
stopping with us,
Oh my
right?
God, that's so funny.
But I think it's just something that's ingrained and like even growing up, being told that
Yeah.
as a child. So my adult self is like, oh hell no,
Right.
you know. But my inner child still feels it. She's in there, and we're like, maybe stay quiet. I'm like, no, my adult self is like, no, got to break this. It ends with us.
yeah, I feel like my mom broke that cycle, not me.
Yeah.
I feel like my mom was more of what you're describing than it was me. I think it's because of her breaking cycles, of not staying quiet, of being opinionated, of being kind of like this strong woman. I think that's why I learned to be that way too. But I think she had to break that cycle. She was also the only daughter and all brothers.
Oh yeah.
And so it was like a completely different experience. So I don't take credit for breaking that cycle. I think I'll give that one to my mom. But that's cool that for you, Amiga, you're doing
Yes. There's a lot of times in my life where I have said something and either one of my sisters, actually probably my oldest sister's like, did you just really say that? I was
like, girl, you tripping over there.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I've had moments like that. It's like, yeah, where I did have to speak up, or I have a different opinion about something, right? Or just doing things differently too overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It brings me back to like the phrase that my grandmother and my mentor would say of like history repeats itself. Out of the darkest times in history rise inspirational figures. And so as we talk about like not being silent,
Yeah.
speaking of like there is a new generation of
Yes.
people arising. And I think we saw this in COVID too. COVID, we saw it more from like a business standpoint.
Yeah.
Businesses had been along for a long time. They crumbled during COVID. And what happened, these really great businesses are coming out of it. The same thing now with everything going on politically. Like it's such a hard time, but it's inspiring certain people to rise. So history repeating itself often has like a negative connotation, but it can also have like this sense of like inspiration of like, yes, just as like, the Martin Luther Kings or whoever it is in our history, this generation is going to have it too. And we're just waiting. And some are starting to already rise, and it'll be really cool to see for our children or the next generation to see what this generation brewed.
It's important to bring in hope. We're hoping that with our podcast today and just our conversation, our thoughts, to be able to share what we've been going through personally, that we instill some hope in you.
When we're talking about the hope piece and kind of what helps us right through this, we're talking about music, right? Whatever, cafecito, something that you instinctively kind of go to. I'm remembering Dia de los Muertos, right? It's like it's this big celebration, especially in Mexico, right, where
beautiful.
You celebrate the dead, right? And typically, right, you make an ofrenda, like you have a little altar, you bring in stuff from your past deceased loved ones to there, right, to come almost like invite them in one day of the year, right? If it depends on where you land on spiritually, you can go either way. But the idea being more than anything, the idea being that you all gather together with your friends, your closest family, or your family closest friends, and you tell typically stories. You storytell memories, things that you all did together to remember the person, their favorite food, their favorite drink, etc. Right? And you typically have it on the friend or on the altar. But the thing that sticks out for me here is the talking about it, right? Talking about that person in this case if they're deceased, but just being able to use your community to share memories. And then when you share memories, right, even as we're doing it here, we tend to feel them. And the more you feel them, I really think that helps us get through this. When I'm listening to Rage or when I'm listening to Chente, it's like it helps me feel some of that pain. And also, speaking with Dia de los Muertos, when I talk about my loved ones, I feel a lot of pain. But it does help. It does help to get through it. And I think with what we're seeing and so much, obviously, on social media and the news about, just human suffering, I'm just going to say that because that's, I think, what it is. It's collective human suffering. I think it's important for us to remember having people around you to really share this with. Making or creating, if you will, some type of ritual, if you will, right, to help get through this. Like Dia de los Muertos, I think it's such a beautiful thing that's already embedded in all of our culture. I think I think our culture can help us heal, even when our culture right now is being looked at as the other and being looked at as not belonging. Step into the culture to heal and use things that you've been taught, that you've been learned. And if you've lost some of that connection, there's others that can help you find that back. I think that's kind of where I am right now. Like, it's a random side story here, but if you will, like my parents, we grew up like vaquero status, right? Like del rancho, right? So my dad and my uncle always wore tejana, sombreros. Like my uncle grew up having a lienzo charro in his house or in his property. It was a lot of fun for us. We would go with lassos and horses. It was so much fun as a kid growing up in Mexico too when we'd go visit.
Yeah.
But so we kind of grew up going to charreadas, we grew up going to like just different, listening to bandas and whatever. It was really fun. And I'm noticing as this is happening was what I see, especially feeling that attack. I'm finding myself pulling even further into it, right? So I listed off my old tejana. Oh, actually, no, I got a new tejana. Sorry, I got a new tejana.
Look at you.
The other one is done. Who knows what happened to it. But yeah, and so I'm just finding I share that because I'm finding myself even more pulled towards it. And again, I think this is more going back to what I was saying earlier, just instinctual, it's just happening. So rather than me kind of like being so ambivalent about it, I'm just bypassing that, if you will, and I'm stepping into it and letting see where that takes me. And yeah, so now when I wear it, I feel different wearing it. We went to this church thing with my brother, and I took it with me. I took my old botas, that I haven't worn in a long time either. It just feels it's different, right? And there may be different reasons why I'm wearing it, but it just makes me feel a little more connected, I think, and that's helping. Yes. So if that works for you, try it out.
Yeah, kind of like taking your power back, like what you were talking about, like. This is us, and I feel powerful with it.
That's beautiful. Beautiful the way you shared that, and how a piece of clothing, right, an item like that can make you feel deeply about where you came from, your roots, feeling proud.
Yeah.
Being curious, right? Being curious again. I think what I've observed with everything that's been going on in my own nervous system is I'm an intellectualizer, right? That's my protective, that's how I protect myself. And so I think to allow the emotions to come up, it's so beyond scary. But I think, to take our power back in that even to feel is a beautiful thing, even if it feels different, and I don't have a garment of sorts, right, that makes me feel powerful in that. But when you were saying that, it made me, it's maybe silly, but, when I would go to the gym and I'd be on my Stairmasters, before maybe I'd put some hype music, and now it's like banda is playing loudly in my ears. And
I resonate with that for sure.
You know what I mean? And so I'm like, or I would even think about like I would definitely dance the whole song, so I can do the Stairmasters to this whole song, And so it's like reconnecting, reconnecting to our cultura, because es una cultura hermosa. I think our cultures are beautiful, and
I love that point, right? Because it's easy to feel like we have to make our culture small right now.
Yes.
It's easy to feel like, let's go in the shadows, right? It's so easy to do that. And I understand why.
Yep.
There is a legitimate reason why maybe we may feel, or part of us may feel to go in the shadows, to just kind of like, let's just survive, right? For sure, I understand that part. And there's this other part, kind of what you're saying, is like, make it bigger. Right, feel it, embrace it, live with it. It's already in you anyway. There. Now, how much more that genuine connectedness internally to feel something that's already there with you, to express it outwardly. It's just so harmonious, to feel that, to be that, to live.
I love that. Make it feel loud.
Yeah.
Even watching, I had never watched a documentary, or the documentary of Dolores Huerta. And I watched it on my way when I went to Puerto Rico recently for a spiritual retreat. And oh my God, just so much of that and what's happening now too. But being able to even watch inspiring documentaries of people's lives, right? And yeah, it's a lot of repeating history. It is. And I actually had never watched her actual documentary story. And I was on that plane crying. I was literally on that plane sobbing. And I was like, I'm just letting it flow.
It's happening.
I'm just letting it flow, right? I'm like, it's gonna happen in public. It's just allowing it.
You're like, Puerto Rico don't know what's coming.
Yep. So yeah, it was amazing to watch it, and it made me feel even deeply more about how I feel, what I'm talking about, what I'm doing, to take my own power back, whatever that looks like for me, and feeling very proud of like, okay, I didn't, like, that wasn't crazy of me. Yes, I'm going to do that, whatever it is. But watching that documentary really sparked something in me. Yeah. Even her being a woman in such a male dominant field in the farm working industry.
Yeah.
Her compared to Cesar Chavez. And they obviously talked about their friendship in the process and how being a woman, the consul members didn't want her to take his spot when he passed away.
Oh.
Yeah. I was just like, I didn't know that. But then I'm like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not
like, that's not that
surprised.
surprising.
I know,
Yeah.
right? So it's just like, yeah. But that documentary really did something.
The other day we were, Lee and I were in the middle of work and listening to music, and this song had played, the one that I sent you. I was
Oh,
like,
the one they said listen to the song?
Yeah, and
okay.
I'm blanking on the
It's,
title of the song.
Oh.
It's by Will I Am and
Royal Heights, LA,
Yes, I was going to say Boyle Heights, East LA. Yes.
worldwide.
and
Yeah.
so I was like, I sent it to Kaylee and I was like, look, LA's new anthem.
Yeah.
Oh, it totally is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were listening to it and stuff like that. But it creates this level of just like empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
inspiration. And so tying it back to like the beginning of our conversation, how you all use music, it instills that hope again.
Yeah.
To be something to be proud of.
It's such a great song. Yeah, I've been listening to that on repeat as well. I love how he always points out too, Royal Heights is not East LA, but it's still together. Right? That's a thing. That's a thing. Yo. That's a thing.
See.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a great song. Especially the reason why I think it's so good because he released it now, this time. Because he could hold on to it, could have waited, right? But I think just being intentional on releasing it now in a time when this is, going back to what we were saying, our culture is being made to feel small, to go in the shadows and hide. Like, this is quite the opposite.
Yeah.
It's, no, here I am in your face. I love how he shows different murals around East LA and Boyle Heights. I love how he's, bringing in a lot of the culture. And of course, our culture is much bigger than just that video, obviously, but it's still representative of parts of our culture. I think it's beautiful.
Take up that space.
Yeah,
Take up the space we are here for.
for sure.
Yeah, the protest, the fight is it looks different, like that's somebody that released music and that's their fight. I was so proud seeing, so, in addition to, the ICE raids here in LA, I was also really terrified seeing the raids that were happening back in my previous hometown, the Coachella Valley, Palm Springs area. And I was so proud of my community and just seeing like, I'm just going to start, doing, there was this woman that was like, I'm going to start accepting donations for food and I'm going to go deliver food for people. And I was like, wow, and how can we support and how can we show up and how can we spread the word? And I think, everybody's fight's going to look different, but it can be you, you as a listener, you can be part of the fight in your own way. What can we do? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot is there. And I keep thinking about my clients who, because I feel like a lot of even this fight, then there's like this, like this contradiction almost internally, and I'm like, but not everyone can show up that way, and like for survival reasons, but we all got something we can do, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Being able to check in with yourself and going back to the capacity, where are you at with what you can do? It looks different for everybody.
and it may look different with everyone. Even within that, each person will fluctuate, right, on when they feel the capacity to, but also how it looks like, right? Just how we all share, like going through the grief cycle almost, right? Feeling angry, feeling super helpless and sad, feeling empowered, feeling hopeful, and then the physical somatic symptoms that I know I experienced, right, which is muscle tension, just like upset stomach, just elevated heart rate, right? Just feeling that pressure, that angst, if you will. Then the opposite, right? Crashing, shutting down, super like sad, not wanting to hang out, isolating in a sense, right? Which is why I think really having the community is so helpful. Even if you're talking about it, and even if we don't have a solution,
Correct.
right? Even if there isn't a blueprint on how to all of a sudden flip this around, right? It's just being able to share that. Like like I mentioned about the ofrendas, being able to talk about it, that stuff is super helpful. At least it's been helpful for me. I should say that it's been helpful for me, and maybe it'll be helpful for you too. But
Like oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I resonate with the ofrenda. Like I call it more like it's my altar, but like which I think it's the same kind of, right? But I have an altar, and that's where I meditate. And in my altar, I have a picture of my grandparents, and being able to sit with whatever every morning or every day I'm feeling, and allowing it to flow and to be whatever that is without fixing it, without criticizing it, judging it, and just noticing it and sitting in that front of that altar. For me, the altar is everything that came before me, but also anything that I value as well, in different ways of my life. So that's where I've been sitting with a lot of discomfort and also happiness, and like the joyful of what lives within us, to tap into that and bring it forward.
Yeah, in my own therapy, as you're talking about, like in my own therapy, my therapist has done a lot of like, Kaylee, just like sit, like be. And it's funny because like I think what I observe my clients struggle with is that, and I can hold space for them, but then on the opposite end, that's what I struggle with sometimes too, and even just like the touch component, and the other day she was like, well, let's just be curious, let's just be curious about what happens if, and she's like guiding me through this whole thing. And then at some point I was like going like this on my stomach, and I told her, I don't know why, but I feel like crying. She's like, that's normal. And I was like, I know, technically I know this is normal, but like, I don't allow myself to do that sometimes. And so that part of just observing our bodies, and for the listener, getting curious on, how is my body carrying this? Where is it carrying this fear? Where is it carrying this sadness? Where is it carrying this rage? Where is it carrying the hope? And just kind of being curious and sitting with it. It's such a practice, and some days it can be easier, other days it can be harder. But I think now I'm definitely more attuned. That's why I every single night I'm trying my best to, I go and do like a yin yoga of sorts, where it's like I put on my music. I was telling you guys, like I put on this like music that feels like my ancestors are there with me, and I just breathe and I stretch. And, I'm with whatever tension I'm carrying, because sometimes after a full day of work and then also worry about family, it's like I feel it. And so not judging it, but just acknowledging it, and then helping yourself in the way that you can. Yeah. Being with it.
That's beautiful.
I'm a work in progress too, girl.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because this shit has been hard.
Our own touch is very important. I feel like building that relationship with our body and our own touch can bring up so much, but we got to develop it, right? It's a practice.
Oh my God, you're proud of me. I see it.
I'm very proud. Yes, but it's a practice.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can forget that practice, and it's like, okay, let me get back to my practice of what's worked before. And that's happened to me this whole time too. Right? It's like I fell off the wagon. Let me get back into this, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm very happy.
Girl.
Yes.
I was sitting at home the other day. So I'm a child of the 80s. I love the movie Rocky. And so we were watching TV. My niece was asking like why it looks like pixelated because it's not as clear as like the 4K. I'm trying to explain that like when I was younger, we didn't have as clear of a picture as we do now.
Yeah.
And so I asked her what old was. So she tells me anybody born before 1999. Thinking, oh gosh,
Girl.
like, but when I think back of like her and I were over 30 years apart.
Yeah.
And so when I think of like, my grandparents and things like that, like time, it's not that long ago when all of these things happened. But the reason I bring this up is because while we were watching Rocky, there's a favorite quote of mine that really talks about how like the world is a mean and nasty place, but it's not necessarily how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And so our communities are, I think at times we try to respond right away. But part of it is being able to sit there, like whether it's at home or whatever, and like take the hits, but know like I can still go forward. And so it's like a balance between the two. How do we hit, but also how do we also learn how to get hit and not let it destroy us, which is so important.
I think what he's saying, like, in order to win that fight, right, it's not necessarily about hitting the hardest. It's about when you do get hit, how do you then respond? How do you strategically maneuver to, win, in that case, the fight, the bout? And if I'm looking at that in this context, right, our culture is used to getting hit. Our culture is used to getting those horrific things happen to them. And somehow we've still found ways. We've still found ways to stay in the fight, stay in the fight. We've created, by force sometimes, openings for us to flourish, for us to be successful, to have successful businesses, to have successful, loving, deeper connections with people that we enjoy being around, that we care about. That to me is a way to fight back. To building those connections with people that I love, and knowing that when I can and when I'm capable at certain times in my life, to be able to be more vocal when I can be. Maybe other times when I don't feel like I can be, then to recover, build up my strength so then I can go back out. Especially for a lot of the folks that are family members of mine that I know can't do that for themselves right now. And to me that feels like it's strength building. Even if my one voice can't hit that hard, with the huge overbearing system that we live in those ways, I feel like strategically it keeps me in the fight.
It's very intentional movement. Having to, I think as immigrants that come to the country, a lot of times first jobs available are this notion of unwanted jobs.
You're right.
They take any job that is unwanted to try to make some money. And we were talking to a neighbor of ours who came as an immigrant to this country. This man owns like 5 homes now. And he always worked, very like entry level type job. But he's like, I was a good saver. I invested where I could. And I was like, you have more now than people that make $1 million, $1 million. And he's like, yeah, because I was smart with my money. And I think that really ties back to that quote of like, yeah, you can have this big punch of like that $1 million, or you take these like micro punches and you let it build up over time and be very intentional.
I feel like for me, it's been kind of tuning back into faith, right? Because sometimes I know that I don't know how to get back up, but I know that I will get back up, right? Or I think for our community, it's like we may not know how to fix this because, like you said, it's a systemic issue, right? But to just know that we are going to get up, even if we don't know how yet. So that's been helpful to me. I think that's how, I think I combat the hits through faith too.
It's interesting that you said faith because I feel like I had been disconnected from my faith and what I've experienced and personally, but also collectively, has connected me back to faith. Mm-hmm. So that is an area that I've been more open to strengthen in this process of seeing everything, being exposed to more, right? Holding more space for pain, but leaning into faith and trusting. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like all I can do is pray.
Yeah.
Truly, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. And then other times it's like, nope, I'm going to go and protest. Nope, I'm going to go and say something. Nope, I'm going to go have a conversation.
Yeah.
For all of our communities, we hope that you feel seen. I hope that you know you are so loved. I hope that you continue to tune in with your heart, with yourselves, with your loved ones, with your community, that you continue to figure out, how is my body responding to all that is pain, that you figure out what the fight looks like for you. Porque como dijimos, la lucha sigue, the fight continues. We love you all so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for just being here with all of us. And hope you all take care, and you know that we're all here if you need any support. And thank you for continuing to evolve your blueprint with us.